Reverend Jackson, always good to have you with us. Those images, and the viewers will see them once again tonight in this special documentary. How did the impact of TV in those days impact the whole civil rights movement that certainly was taking place and followed?
It made public the pain and the rejection. The most difficult part of segregation was not physical pain, it was isolation and limitation. One could not use, I was arrested trying to use a public library. Black soldiers had to sit behind Nazi prisoners of war. We could not buy ice cream at Howard Johnson. We were locked out and limited. And so those walls came down in 54 legally. They came down legislatively in 1964. And then, of course, the right to vote, it changed everything. Blacks could not vote. 18-year-olds could not vote. White women could not serve on juries. You couldn't vote on college campuses. All that changed coming out of the 60s.
So much progress has been made. All of us know, and there's an African-American who's president of the United States right now. But I think everyone acknowledges, and I'm sure you do as well, a lot more work has to be done. If there's one thing that needs to be done right now, Reverend Jackson, what is it?
Well, let me say, it's not only that President Barack Obama is in the White House, but President Jimmy Carter from Plains, Georgia, and President Clinton from Hope, Arkansas, and President Bush from Odessa, Texas, they couldn't have made it. We freed white and black. You would not have had automotive industry and a big Alabama LSU game or the athletic teams in the South. All it changed for everybody, the North and South. Today we must enforce the Voting Rights Act and, of course, address the fact that the 11 southern states have gone Confederate again in their agenda of the McDaniel variety, where a state like South Carolina, 1/4 poverty, rejects $12 billion in Medicaid money. A state like Mississippi rejects $10 billion in Medicaid money for the poorest people in America. Texas, $100 billion. And so now we must now move toward the beauty of this Thad Cochran campaign and find that we must live together. And we live together, we can share America's resources together.
You and I spoke yesterday on the phone. I know you have strong views. The fact that Thad Cochran, the Republican incumbent senator in Mississippi, reaching out to African-American voters in Mississippi, mostly Democrats, to secure this primary victory. What's the bottom line here? What's your message from what happened?
The bottom line, if it were a white primary and blacks couldn't vote, it would have been the outcome. Our voting determined the outcome. Our not voting determined the outcome. And when there's a reach out, I mean, what made Bill Clinton so strong coming out of Hope, Arkansas, he reached out. I mean, his opposition had more white votes than he did. He had more white, black, and brown. So a multicultural rainbow coalition is America's future. And I would hope that those southern states that affect the wrestling with poverty and deprivation would not reject Medicaid money and address the issues of the poor. It's the morally correct thing to do.